Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hey, it's Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, and I am here today to talk to you. That's right. If you are a consummate storyteller, a content creator, an influencer, anyone who has a message that you know once you leave it, it is going to change the world for generations to come, then you're who we're looking for. Trajectory TV is currently looking for all of you who have messages that you know that this world in the future and today can learn from, heal through, and grow with for thousands of years. So all we have to do is connect. So use the link. Let's talk about how to get you started to get your message to the far reaches of the universe. I said universe, and I know that you are that person because I see you. I feel you, and I want to get to know you because we at Trajectory TV can help you. So don't hesitate. Don't waste another moment. Give us a call. Let's get started changing this world.
You can navigate the legal and emotional journey of divorce and exit a marriage the way you entered it, with mindfulness, love, and respect. Solace Divorce Mediation is a full-service law practice helping couples focus on the health and well-being of children and their forever co-parenting family. Our streamlined divorce journey offers flat fees with an estimated completion time frame of 2 to 4 months. If you or a friend need us, visit solacedivorce.com.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
When am I going to find some rhythm? Jeez. Wait. Never mind. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Wake up. Just wake that ass up. Wake that ass up. Good morning. I'm excited to be here. You know what day it is. It's Meet the Experts Day, and we've got 3 of them in the house. One may be coming. You never know with this group. But anyway, hey, we're 2 or more of us. That's a party, and you're here, I'm here, they're here. Let's get going. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. It's the 20th day of June. Oh my goodness. Juneteenth yesterday, and boy, I don't know what it is with you can't go anywhere without some. I'm scared to leave the house. So, I'm not kidding you. A friend of mine posted yesterday that they went to some kind of a rave thing. It was a festival outside, and she showed a picture where they had taken it 1 hour before, and not even 40 minutes after they left, and they were camping, and they could see down on the venue, and all of a sudden they saw all of these response vehicles coming. Inactive shooter. I think 6 people were shot and 1 person lost their life. And you know, we're supposed to go see KC and the Sunshine Band on my birthday, the 4th of July. And I'm like, but you can't live in fear. I don't know. We're gonna talk about that today. It's just we need all of us that are here to change this world. We got to stay on it. You know, this work cannot be a shared custody agreement. We really need to do our best and be on it 24/7, 365. You know what I'm going to say? Can I get an amen up in here? Just pray about it. I mean, it's Lord, you know, I really do wonder sometimes though, can we ever flip that? You know, is it going to get worse? Is it going to get better? I don't know. Now I kind of know how my granny felt, Grandma Callie, back in the 70s when she was like, all that electronic stuff happening. I'm glad I ain't gonna be alive with it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, Granny, quit it. But now I'm still finding mosquito bites from when we were at that Airbnb in Charleston 2 weekends ago. They got some mosquitoes in South Carolina. I'm not kidding you. Those jokers, you don't even feel them biting you, but you sure feel it later. I'm not. Well, at least I can still feel. That's what I want to say. So how you doing today? Tell me where you're viewing from. Drop it in the comments. And again, happy Tuesday to you. The experts are here. We have badass Jamie Lane in the house. D. Grant Smith is here with his I'll wait. And the prodigal expert is back. I don't know how she got away out of the jaws of corporate America to show up. I'm sorry, Tracy. Jamie got me going. It's her fault. But anyway, yeah, Tracy Randolph, the reset coach, is here. And today, they don't even know what the topic is, but I'm ready for them. I'm going to get them in here so we can get started. We got I think I have 4 topics for us to talk about today. And this is an immersive experience. So I want to know what you feel about these different things that we're going to talk about today, how you deal. Today's topic is dealing. You know how people always say, just deal with it. Well, you deal with it. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but it still has to get done. And we're going to talk about that with a few different topics, all with the preface of dealing with. Okay, so put your hearts on the screen, because that is our way of virtually applauding, virtually giving a standing ovation, and virtually rolling out the red carpet. Here they come, all 3 of today's experts. Badass Jamie Lane, D. Grant Smith, and Tracy from the jaws of corporate Randall. Mosquito bite. Oh,
let's get this motherfucker started.
Oh, I missed you on one today. Welcome, experts. Welcome. Oh, That's the bell of purpose. Blah, 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 blah. Ring it when there's some truth on the table. Welcome my sidekick, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, to the show. She's been here all 6 years and she ain't going nowhere.
Hey, girl.
How you been?
Good.
Where you been, Tracy?
In the jaws of corporate America, as you said.
I mean, they tearing that ass
I'm
up.
like, I'm scared to say anything. But
We're gonna need to hear some truth. Is what we need.
Because they might be watching, huh, Tracy?
No, I'm not concerned about that.
What
I was saying I'm scared because badass Jamie Lane down there was getting on me earlier.
I'm just holding your DNA accountable.
And Tim Chung, pray for him because Panda Express is tearing his ass up too. We ain't seen him in a month of Sundays. He, seriously, he went to Romania with us and showed up 2 days late because he had to. And seriously, he was already set up for months, and I think like 12 hours before his flight to Romania, they forced him to go to LA, and so he didn't get to Romania until 2 days after everybody.
Wow.
Right. So, we're going to talk about how you deal with certain things. But first of all, start with Tracy. How you been and what's been checking? What's crack-a-lacking?
I've been good. Like you said, I've been, working in corporate America, but everything has been good. I just came off a vacation. So I was
How many minutes did they give you off?
How many minutes?
I was gone for about 13 minutes.
I did not work the whole time.
You didn't?
I did not. I didn't work the whole time. I enjoyed the beach and the sun and laid out by the pool. And so I had a very relaxing vacation. I have a story to tell, though. I was driving to Georgia to pick up my son because he stayed at my cousin's house while I was on
Hi,
vacation.
Jordan.
And he's still sleeping. He's a teenager.
Right, in his summer vacation.
Okay. Right. But I was driving to Georgia, and there was a man. You know how you have the overpass when you're on the highway, and I'm driving down 85 South, and there was a man sitting on the ledge of one of the overpasses. So I started praying first because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that. He's right on the edge. So I started praying first for him, and then I called 911. Apparently, a lot of people had called in because they saw him. So they knew exactly. So with this technology that you were talking about earlier, they knew exactly where I was. So the 911 operator said, are you calling for the man that's sitting on the overpass, on the edge of the overpass? And I said, yes. And she said, okay, we already know about it. But, I had to call because I just wanted to make sure that somebody could get to him. But it was just strange to see someone sitting there on the edge. And it was
complaining.
Yeah. Yep. So I pray that person is okay.
Is okay.
Yeah.
Now, can I tell a story about when I was in prison?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, well, it was that place you go before you go in. It's called, RGC. It's like you go there and then they send you, and it's like 5 stories tall, right? Mm-hmm. And you're across from each other, all these layers. And there was a guy up on the top, and he had crawled over the railing and was holding on like this. And it's that, that hallway, that school hallway floor down there with all them little speckled things down in it. You know what I'm talking about, right? Be all shiny. You remember them, right? And the part, I know this is kind of strange to say because he did jump. Ugh, sounded like a watermelon. I'm not kidding you. I'll never forget it. But the part that I can't get out of my mind, you would think it would be him jumping and seeing him land because you can't turn away because you can't believe what you're seeing. You're like in some kind of a force field. Was how many of those guys were chanting, jump, kill yourself. Right. And it triggered me because I pictured him. Then I went right to that guy. And then the vision fades out and the audio came to the forefront. And I'll never forget. And I never could understand how people, they even started applauding when he landed. 10, calling like it was a gymnastics move or something. It was really sick and sad. And so, wow, I'm sorry you had to experience that. But what did you think, Tracy, after you drove away? How long did it stay with you? clearly it's still with you, but
yeah, still, because I've never actually seen that outside of television, right? So in person, I've never really seen it, and I was just concerned. So, like I said, I started praying first because I'm like, I'm on a major highway, and there was no way to get to this person. I didn't know what was going on, but I'm like, let me just pray for him first, and then call. Let me call 911 to see what's going on.
was the
But
traffic slowing? Because you know how people like to gawk and watch.
not well, we were underneath, so it was really even hard to slow because you're just going, under an overpass, and you just happen to look up and see this person, right? Or not happen to, right? It was meant for me to look up so that I
Yeah.
could call 911, and for all of those who did call, right? Because apparently people had called before me, and maybe he was sitting there for a while. I don't know. But you just
Couldn't
in
have been
shock.
that long because the responders weren't there yet.
No, they were not. So
Wow. Well,
yeah.
thanks for sharing that, boy.
Mhm.
Well, let's pray that it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. D. Grant Smith, what's up?
What's up?
How are you? How you been since last month?
I'm good. I've been coming more. I think all of us are doing this, coming more into ourselves and loving and appreciating ourselves and cleaning and clearing out, releasing stuff that I didn't realize I was attached to or had been carrying around with me for a really long time. And just every day feeling more and more peace and love and joy, and recognizing that even though some things haven't necessarily gone the way that I thought that they would, everything's working out in my favor. And, maintaining gratitude and joy throughout the process of life, because it is the summertime. It's my favorite time of year.
I heard that it's the most Oh, wait, that's from another season.
You can sing anytime, man.
I know that's right. Badass Jamie Lane. My hay fever's all. My eyes itching already. How are you?
Good. Just tagging people and inviting them and telling them a party's about to get started. I'm great. The same as what D. Grant said. I like what he said about being attached to things, and which is a conditioned mindset, a cloning mindset that we're taught at birth and shit. And it feels really great to be able to identify those things and live in authenticity.
I hear you. Okay. Before we get started, you guys know Robert Brooker, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know he's always here. So Robert, something's happened. Robert is living in his car in Toronto. So we need to pray for Robert. And for those of you out there, Robert, you need to start a GoFundMe. There's his information. And Robert's thing is I see him on all so many different shows. That's his thing, that he likes to go on shows and support people that he loves their message. And he gives you tons of engagement. It may just be you and Robert, but you're going to have 400 comments right by the end of the show. And we all want that, because that helps your Google, your analytics and whatnot. So Robert, we're praying for you. You need to start a GoFundMe, Robert. Or maybe if you don't know, because I know he's locked out of his computer and all of that. If there's somebody out there that can get in touch and help Robert get that started, perhaps we can help get him out of his car at least, and even into a hotel or something for the time being. So I'm going to put that back up there. There it is again. 416-460-1488. We watch out for each other. And Robert, thank you for being here regardless. See what I'm saying? Right. A lot of people would be sitting on the edge of an overpass for something like this or less. So there we go. We're gonna bring that back in before we get out of here today. Thank you, Robert. So today, here it is. I was trying to think of something different for us to talk about today. So you heard me say today's topic is dealing with ... So I have 4 different topics that should carry us through the remainder of. Let me see. So somebody, okay, Tracy, pick 1 through 4, and that'll be the first one. Then we'll go around.
2.
Dealing with betrayal. Anyone here, raise your hand. Have you ever dealt with betrayal?
I guess
You had to think about it?
I did. I did.
Okay, well, let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
We think we know sometimes, or we assume that we all have the same definition
Mm-hmm.
of betrayal. So, Jamie, your hand went up awfully quick. So did yours, D. Grant. So let's go through you two. Start with Jamie, then D. Grant, and then we'll get to Tracy because she might just still be in the corporate fog, which is why she couldn't. Right. So okay, we're gonna quit picking on you. Betrayal, and all of you out there, say yes. I've dealt with betrayal. Put it in the comments because we want to talk about this. Jamie, what was yours like? What can you say about this and how you dealt with it?
I love talking about this because ultimately, after all these years, you know what trauma did? I betrayed myself. Every time I thought someone else betrayed me, it wasn't them. Those motherfuckers could see my weakness. Those motherfuckers could see I was vulnerable, knew I was not, making responsible decisions, and I did it to myself. And to learn those lessons and to set boundaries, because, when you live in trauma, when you're raised with trauma, you're already taught to betray yourself. You're already taught that your feelings don't matter. Your thoughts don't matter. There's no reason. You're not even a person. Being a child who's been traumatized, you're not even a person. You're not recognized at it. So you don't think that. You betrayed yourself from the beginning. So when I hear words like, if we have a choice, and how you deal with that, you must get to know yourself and be like, oh, it's so easy. No, it's not fucking easy. It's hard. It is hard, and you've got to get through the shame, the humiliation, and you really have to be truthful with yourself and be a friend of yourself, love yourself, and make a commitment to yourself. You will set your boundaries, and you must know who you are. I call it your operating philosophy. Who are you? If you don't know who you are, you're always going to be betrayed, and you're going to do it yourself every single time.
I agree. Now, in case you guys are wondering about Potty Mouth here, don't worry. We allow her to get all those MFs out early in the day before she goes to teach at Vacation Bible School this afternoon. So we just let her get it out right here on the show before she changes into her long knee-length skirt. And can you imagine they hire Jamie Lane to teach Vacation, but don't know? Okay, all you little motherfuckers, line up, right? And they go, why? Well, what would Jesus do? Right? I think that's
what would Jamie do? WWJD.
What just like Jamie do? Oh my God. Oh, literally. Oh my God. Okay, that was a good one. And I agree. I was like, man, I wish I'd have thought of that one. Because it's true. I believe that, the times you may have heard in my messages, I say, those times that things went wrong, went left, went south in our lives, and we finally get to the point where we can be honest about how it happened, we end up pointing to ourselves. I am responsible for that because we break our own covenants. And that, I think, is the deepest sense of betrayal to one's self. So great job there. D. Grant, what about you? What have you to say?
Well, I concur 1,000% with what Jamie shared. The stories that we tell ourselves about who we are, our subconscious programming, all that stuff, this is all coming from, like Jamie said, this is coming from our childhood and also from our DNA, things that, we have energetically picked up on that we didn't actually raise our hand and ask for. It just, came into us from ancestry, parents, all that stuff. So for me, betrayal was ingrained in me in a way. And so was, codependency, people pleasing, rejection and abandonment. And I actually this morning, I had an experience of doing something called Ho'oponopono, which you guys might be familiar with, but it's a way of cleaning and clearing, not just our consciousness and the people that, were involved in. Instead of saying the people that, were responsible, no, we take full responsibility for what took place because it was the story that was within us, whether we were aware of it or not. And it's a prayer you pray to God to clean that part out of you. And also clean it out of the other person so that we're not continuing to project this pain and this suffering out into the world. But I
Y'all hear
recognize
that? Did y'all hear that? I think I hear the angels actually singing that prayer.
I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, thank you.
Man, that was right on point. So that's what you were talking about right there, huh, D. Grant?
that's right. Yeah.
And
And what
why were you practicing that this morning?
Well, it's become a regular part of my life. Actually, small story. About a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago, I was getting into this place of just wanting to heal from the experience I had with my former spouse. And I finally got to a place where I wasn't blaming her anymore, and I was just sending her love and peace, because I was like, whatever it was that was going on with her that made her, left betray and abandon our marriage or whatever.
You know what you want to say. Whatever made that bitch. I'm just playing. I know. I'm just kidding. But there's probably a day you felt that way, but now you don't.
I don't feel that way at all. No.
Did you ever hold any kind of?
I felt bitterness for a little while, but I released that. But here's the story. 2 years ago, I was doing a steady dose of Ho'oponopono for myself to clean and clear my consciousness and my heart, and also for her healing. And over the past now year, she and I have reconnected. When we have conversations, and she's come over to the house a couple of times. I've got peaches in my backyard from 3 peach trees. She came over a couple of weeks ago, picked peaches. She paid me money for them, and then we sat on my front porch and talked for an hour and a half, and it was a loving, healing, beautiful conversation. And the last things that we said to each other before we left were, "I love you," which had not been spoken to each other in 5 years. So I just give so much gratitude and thanks for the effectiveness of this simple prayer to bring healing and wholeness, because there was a time 2 years ago where I told God, I send her love and peace, but I never want to see her again. And I heard my spirit say, never say never. And so I had to wrap my head around the fact that there might be a time when I have some sort of interaction with her that doesn't suck. But every conversation we've had since I did that work has been a beautiful, wonderful, loving experience. And so now taking that same thing and replicating it over into any and all other relationships in my life. Like, I do some tutoring part-time. And as I'm having tutoring conversations or helping kids, when I notice that they're struggling, I'm like, okay, whatever their struggle is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I'm noticing that it's having this transformational effect even on the kids and changing their attitudes and their temperaments and the ways that they are like feeling and believing themselves instead of beating themselves up or telling themselves they can't do things, because all this stuff is limiting beliefs, and it's all ways that we betray ourselves without, being aware of it. So that's just what I have to share with you guys for this part of the conversation. And who knows what happened to Lauren, but
Yeah. So in regards to dealing with betrayal, I think my hesitation was because when I choose to release things, it's like it doesn't really exist anymore to me so much, right? So I had to really think about it, because for everyone that I thought when I had, took that moment that betrayed me, I've done what you've done, D. Grant, and I've decided to, deal with it, get through my feelings, and then send them off with love, like you said, right? So same situation. I had a very similar situation to yours, and my betrayal, when I've always thought about it, was with relationships, and I'm going to get back to that for 1 second. But I had the very similar situation with my son's father, where we recently had a conversation, and he gave me like all of the truth, right? And I wasn't looking for it or needed it at the time, but it was just a beautiful conversation and just an understanding, right? And a very loving conversation. And same thing happened, sent each other off with love, said, I love you. And, that's it. So I'm just grateful for those times. But when I release things, I don't never really consider it betrayal anymore, because I feel like it's just something that needed to happen in my life for me to learn from, for me to grow from, to recognize who I am within myself. So when Jamie was talking earlier, when she mentioned, the worst betrayal is the betrayal of self, every time I think about a relation where I think, oh, I've been betrayed in a relationship, no, I really betrayed myself, because I shouldn't have dealt with the relationship in the first place. When you think about it and when you heal from it, you start to recognize that there were some things within you that accepted what that person was giving. So thank you for that conversation. But I don't feel betrayed any longer. When I release it, I don't really feel the betrayal. So I had to really think about it, because I just operate in love. And most people that, I could say, quote unquote, betrayed me, I'm either like friends with or very cordial with. And it's just a loving relationship after the fact. So
You see me looking around, sitting here waving and stuff. Like, can they see me? You know what I did? I turned my internet off. And I'm still here. That is so interesting. So I'm gonna just leave it like that for now. See, hey, who knows? Maybe the universe is giving me my own internet. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice? Now, I just want to say this real quick, and we're gonna go to the next topic of dealing with. And for me, betrayal is every time I turn away from what I instinctually know is true. Anytime I step over that line when I don't follow my first mind, because first mind, in my opinion, is directly connected to creation. Everything after that, it tells you it's what comes second. And that's why it's been aptly named second guessing. And so, that's like trying to Helen Keller your way from one point to another. So that's how I feel about it in a nutshell. Okay. Jamie, 1, 3, or 4?
3.
3. Let me see which one that is. 3 is 1, 2, 3. Oh, dealing with success. Yeah, a lot of people go, "Oh, that ain't hard." It is for a lot of people. Imposter syndrome, scarcity mindset, all kinds of different shades to that paint strip. Why don't you chose? So why don't you go first? You see how I'm sneaking, scratching my because I'm still traumatized. Because my mom used to I'm gonna put socks on your hands if you don't quit. She would duct tape them and take the tape all the way underneath your armpits. No, you had to chew through them if you were gonna scratch. You'll rub it now, won't you? So anyway, I don't know how I got to that just now. But listen, Jamie, start dealing with success. You ever dealt with that?
Yeah, and I think the definition of success differs to people. A lot of people think making $1 million is success. I don't, and here's why. For one reason, we're just throw that out there. I don't want to work as hard as it takes to make $1 million. I don't give a fuck about making 7 figures. You know what is successful to me? I made my own compost. I'm growing my own fruit, my own food. I'm becoming self-sufficient so I don't have to fucking conform to the bullshit societal norms. Okay? I don't rely on money. So for a lot of people, I think that we're taught that luxury are all these things that are material and a currency that is shown to be volatile, we can't even trust. And I think we get confused. And so for me, the definition of success is probably not going to be what others do. I like to learn. I want to know truth. All my principles are freedom. So I need to know truth. I want to know DNA. I get to the root of the issue. That's me as a person. That's my operating philosophy. That's who I am. So, in everything that I seek, start to finish. And for those of you, I do understand I have to conform to the currency as it currently stands because that's what we've been conditioned to. I am slowly removing myself from that kind of madness.
Okay. There it is. Tracy?
Yeah. This is a good one. I think my definition of success, prior to, I guess, the second half of my life starting was exactly what Jamie said. So when you think about where I am now, my attitude around where I am currently is completely different than it was before because, my definition of success prior to, going through a life-changing situation and having breast cancer was get that great job and, get the house and the cars and the things, right? And after life changed for me, the success really now is seeing people healthy and, seeing my son happy, and those things are successful to me now. And the numbers, when it comes to the money, that comes, it doesn't matter. God provides the resources that you need and you choose the way that you're going to go to get them. And that's fine. But success now is just recognizing that, everything will come as it needs to, and kind of flow and operate in that space. So my energy is completely different around corporate America now than it was before. So, that's success to me now. Success is just being happy. Success is living healthy. Success is some of what you said too, Jamie, in terms of the truth. And my truth around that is more around, what keeps you healthy, as you know, because you do that a lot too. But it's more around finding out the truth on the things that help people live a successfully healthy life, and not so much around money and, the pretentious things that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah.
Great. Awesome. What about you, D. Grant?
Well, similar to what Jamie said, and also similar to what Tracy said, no two people categorize success in the same way. And so, it's this ubiquitous word that, seems to have this one meaning, but it has like 900 billion meanings. My definition of success is fulfillment of dreams and goals. And so success is not something that I'm also learning success isn't a destination. Mm-mm. It's a state of being. And so part of this is, taking on success as who I am, regardless of what kind of outside thing I experience. So part of what I was doing Ho'oponopono on this morning was this realization that I've had attachments to things and people that I've felt were part of what made me who I am and part of what was going to give me what it was that I wanted. And so I created all these stories and how, things had to look this certain way or else I wasn't going to feel content or peaceful or loved or successful or whatever the case may be. But it was all this attachment. And my higher self keeps saying, like, dude, I'm not attached to anything. I'm not attached to people. I'm not attached to outcomes. I don't live that way. And if you want to live like me, you've got to let go of attachment. Mm-hmm. And so dealing with success is letting go of the idea, for me, letting go of the idea that something outside of me has to happen to me in order to be successful. Mm-hmm. If we're going to be successful, then that means success is a state of being. It's a consciousness. And putting that on, wearing that, and operating from that place, that's an ongoing thing. For me, love is a state of consciousness. It's not something that I experience just outside of me. It's who I am. And so I attract that into my life. All three of you guys are love too. We attract what we are. The universe gives us who we are, not what we want. And so dealing with success is, okay, well, if I feel successful, then I am successful. If
I agree.
I think successful thoughts, I am successful. And so, like, operating and flowing in this place, and I think Robert was talking about having a fear of success. Dude, I feel for you. I had a fear of success too, because I thought that it would come with all these like responsibilities and all these people that I'd have to make happy and all this other stuff. And this is another place where Ho'oponopono clears out all that negative conditioning and takes it all out of you so that it's no longer a fear and it's now something you can just totally enjoy and embrace.
Exactly. And I'll wrap this one up by saying this. I too, Robert, and so many others that haven't put in the comments, but still have that or have had that mindset, is when I had a fear of success, I searched for a long time on how to change that. But then I suddenly had an epiphany. Thank you, God. And I changed where I placed the definition. And so what I mean by that is success for me today is anytime I get to say through growth, okay, I'm there. I know this to be true because truth never changes and will never change on me. So once I know this is true, that is the final verdict of the jury. It is now on my spiritual hard drive, not on a flash drive. I will not change how I feel about this no matter what. And what that means is now success for me is a joyful, sacred celebration, which means every time I am grateful, it is success that I am grateful for. Every time I am successful and I celebrate, it is so they kind of pour into each other like a braid or twist around like a DNA helix. They just pour in and out of each other from top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner. So there's that. Okay. Who hasn't chosen yet?
Grant. D. Grant.
D. Grant. So we only have two left, so say one or two.
One.
Dealing with grief. Well, who wants to start this one?
I can offer an unpopular opinion.
No.
I know.
I've never heard something like that from you. Go ahead.
So I've never dealt with grief very much. And for me, grief means a loss of something. I'm a passionate person and I feel everything. And I know it can seem like I'm brash and harsh a lot of the times, and I don't feel, but that is just the opposite. I feel everything. So for someone like me, if I'm able to be pragmatic about it and say, look, I also thought my son was going to die at any given moment back in the day. If I could be logical about this and realize that the loss is part of the life, and if I can learn myself and how to understand that, Jamie, you do believe in these things that are out there, you know to be true, right? You know that. I feel like for me to prepare my body and mind, because I am susceptible to such extreme pain, which causes migraines and sickness and vomiting, I must be pragmatic. I must be logical. So for me to accept that process, it just has to be that way. I have to think about it pragmatically. You know, I be crying about it and upsetting myself, which I'm not saying don't do. I will definitely do that. My point is, like, I think it'll be easy to accept once I'm able to put things logically and pragmatically and realize this is how it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's done.
Perfecto. Tracy?
I don't know. For me, it's always the loss of people that hurts the most, right? I don't feel like I really grieve too many other things. If I lose them, I feel like Jamie's. That's okay, but not when it comes to people.
Do you mean like friendships or death, or what do you mean?
No, I mean death. Death. I don't really lose my friends. I'm a good friend.
Yeah, but because of betrayal and things, we may not lose them, but they, we don't move them out of the line, but they move themselves through action.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily, I feel like the conversation that we had earlier, when it comes to betrayal, once it's done for me, it's done and I'm good. And send them off with love. And like we talked about, that's fine. But when I lose people to death, that hurts the most. That's the grief that I have a really hard time dealing with, because I love my people. And it's hard to lose people when you love them, and
It
my
is.
relationships are genuine. So that's hard for me. It's hard for me to deal with the loss of people.
Yes, and I'll chime in on that one. Um, because it took me a while to get to this point with both mothers, number one and two. But I finally got to. I remember I woke up one day. I was like, "Wait a minute!" It was when, you know how when you lose somebody like my birth mom, I would wake up and I would say, "Oh, let me call. Oh, wait, she's not here." Or, you wake up and the sun's shining, the birds are chirping, and you go, "What a beautiful day." Oh, wait, oh, yeah, she's not here. And that's when I realized I'm not really grieving her death as much as I'm grieving the void that her absence has created.
Hmm.
And that's when I started the shift into all of the things she left me with. I would say, well, if she was sitting right here, or I could call her and say, "Mom, I'm grieving," what would she say? "Boy, don't grieve me. That's the song she chose for me to sing at her funeral.
Hmm.
I'm a living testimonial." And then there's a line in there because I begged her, "Why don't you pick a song I already know?" She's like, "It's my funeral." Right. And when I started learning the lyrics, I understood. But I really didn't understand until I was standing above her casket up in the pulpit singing. And and when I that line, "Don't cry for me, Argentina." That wasn't it, but you know what I mean. That's the gay in me. Um, but really, because I have lived my life, you still must go. And so, it was the absence. So when I celebrate the things that she left for me, it takes care of the grief that she's no longer with me. So that's how I deal with it. D. Grant, you?
Well, I feel so much of what Jamie was saying about being a very passionate person and feeling everything. I'm just like that too. And also what Tracy was saying about, people in relationships. I'm a great friend. I don't really worry so much about even people that have like moved on and we don't, have a close connection anymore. Like you, I appreciate the things that they taught me and the lessons learned. With death, that's something that's taken me a lot longer to process because I've had people like that I was really close to that died, and it wouldn't actually occur to me that they weren't actually here for like months down the road. And what I've learned for myself is that my own process of dealing with grief is I have to let myself feel it, because I recognize that kind of like dealing with loss or betrayal and like a other relationship, my patterns were to suppress those emotions and not address them and not fully feel them so they could be released. And then, of course, those patterns and whatever other negative stuff would come up to the surface at a later point in time and wreak all kinds of havoc. And so, grief for me is the combination of the memory and also the appreciation, but also feeling the loss, at least in our face-to-face human sphere sort of way. And but letting myself feel those emotions. And I think for actually dealing with everything that we've talked about, success, betrayal, grief, I don't know what the fourth category is going to be, Lauren, but for me, dealing with anything, I'm learning and practicing. Okay, what, like, maybe it's fear. What is it that I need to feel in this moment, instead of trying to run away, trying to deny, whatever the case may be? Like, okay, what is it that I need to feel right now so that I can actually, be released? I said something that I
Being
didn't know was
released.
funny, but apparently Lauren's cracking up.
No, I was going to put in a fourth joke one, and I thought I was in the banners and I was in the comments. So I just threw "dealing with gas" out to everybody. So ignore it. Okay. That joke didn't go. That was, except for those of us who are looking. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you just stole the show, bud.
Yeah, well. Yeah, well. Okay. Well, grief, literally, there are stages, they say to it. And I think that's one of the most important parts is that, it is something that is a process. It is a process, and it's okay. We must grieve for different reasons at different times um, on different subjects. But like everything else that does not serve us, when it gets to the point where it is not serving us, we must let it go. So there's that one. And here's the real fourth. It's a good one. The real fourth topic, dealing with drum roll. Dealing with haters. Who would like to start this one?
I mean, I can. I feel like I don't want to go first all the time. If someone else wants to.
Let's start with D. Grant.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Dealing with haters. Well,
Go ahead.
first thing I do is I do what my buddy Lee, and I know he didn't come up with this. This has been said for countless decades. I check myself before I wreck myself.
Yeah.
Because if somebody is doing something to me, like it's an opportunity for me to be aware of, okay, what is the inner story that I'm telling myself? Is this something that I have been afraid somebody might say? And if it's not, and it's just totally out of nowhere, then I don't have to react to this. This isn't my business. And one of the things I'm learning about is not to be reactive to anything, because anything that's showing up in my reality is an old story that is reflecting itself back to me, but that's not my current story.
Right.
And if it's something that's reflecting back to me that I don't want, I can just do what Lauren said and check my first mind and ask, like, hey, is this something that's actually in me that I need to deal with and process? Because if it's not, then it's none of my business, and move on down the road. Like Jamie was saying, my energy is precious, and who I share it with and who I give it to with my thoughts and my feelings, that's my responsibility. And I don't have to give a flying F to I'm actually going to be going to Vacation Bible School in just a few minutes.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh,
Let me know if you want a speaker.
I'm going to bring you on speakerphone so that you can, share the good news of the Lord. With
all right.
you.
Well, listen up, asshole. I can just hear her.
So that's my part.
Love it. Love it. Trace.
Yeah. There was a show out called Little Bill, and I used to watch that years ago with my son, right? And the father on that show used to always say the kid was being, I guess what they call kind of semi-bullied. He had his haters. But every time the other kid would say something to him, his father told him to say so. He said, for one, it's going to stop the bully, the person that's bullying you. It's going to stop them, because if you don't care, they can't keep going. And every time you say so, it kind of shuts them up. So you're not egging them on, and you're not concerned really about what they're saying. So that's my mindset when it comes to haters. So, and thank you, right? Like I don't really take that all in. It doesn't really matter that much to me. And I always go back to that little show because I just thought that was a great way to teach a kid how to deal with somebody who was saying something.
Right.
Right. So that's what I say to haters. So
Got it. Awesome. And Robert, clearly you remember this, but you guys know what I say about it. And I remember I was put on the spot during a Huffington Post interview by phone, and I had a feeling she was trying to trip me up. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Right. Sometimes, not always when you have an interview or whatever, are they there for the right reason? Mm-hmm. And I just had a sense this girl's trying to trip me up, and so she goes, well, last question. How do you deal with haters? And I was going to go to, but suddenly the download came. And I told her, well, I would have no idea because I've never had any. And she goes, everybody has. I said, speak for yourself. I've never had any haters. I don't have them. She goes, well, if you don't have haters, what do you have? I said, I have closet fans. They just don't know they love me yet. That's my job, is to convince them that they do. And not me, but what I stand for and the things that come through me on their way to the rest of the world. Because how can somebody hate you if they don't know you? It has nothing. That's why I thank God for the 4 agreements. Don't make assumptions. Don't take anything personally. Always do your best. and be impeccable with your word. So, yeah, I just don't. And Robert said, closet cheerleaders, same thing. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Um, so I am excited about I think we covered a lot of great neighborhoods today, uh, talking on these various subjects of how to deal. And there are hundreds of other categories that we could have chosen, but the operative word in all of them is dealing, facing it, understanding why. For one, you hear me say all the time, I don't believe in mistakes. I believe it's just the universe keeping this shit interesting. And so, and remember, no matter what you're feeling and what category you're feeling it within, it is never about just one thing. Whatever you're feeling at the time, if you're celebrating, then no, okay. Then what's the other side of the coin, and vice versa. It is never about just one, and it doesn't have to be negative. If you're thinking about it for yourself, now think about it in regard to someone else, someone other than yourself. I'm glad I have this and I can have it as a keepsake, but how can I give some of it away? It's never about just one thing. Always look for that part two, because duality is a given in this universe. High, low, hot, cold, up, down, black, white. So, let's see. Next month, who would like to lead?
Oh, I'll lead. Fuck it.
Ne-
What are we leading? My haters.
I was gonna say it must have something to do with cuss words, but anyway. Okay, so Jamie, you can choose what we're gonna talk about next month. Surprise us,
All
right? And it's time to go already. This was great. I've missed you guys. Final thoughts. Go around the circle. Start with Tracy. What do you want to say as we get out of here?
This was great for me too, because it's been such a long time. So I'm just gonna say thank you to these three other beautiful people sitting here. I appreciate it. Glad to be back with you. That's my final words.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. D. Grant.
Blessings, peace, love, joy. It's who we are. So let's be who we are.
Couldn't have said it better.
If people are going to hate you, make sure they hate you for the truth. All right. I want people to hate me and tell everyone why they hate me, maybe because of the real me. Know who you are. Know your operating philosophy.
Thank you, Potty Mouth. I'm kidding. I love that. Thank you, Jamie. And thank all of you out there for pouring in today. Some great comments. This was one of my favorite episodes in a long, long time.
Me too.
We'll see you guys next month, mid-month. The experts will be back, and we hope you'll be back tomorrow when Alexis and Justin Black, they are Foster alumni, and they have a new baby. Well, she's, I don't know, about 8 months old, just as cute as can be. And they are tearing it up out there with their book, Redefining Normal. And now they are showing people how to turn your story into income. They're going to be here tomorrow. I just love these two kids. They met each other in their first year in college. Both of them had just aged out of foster care, and they are just, you're going to love them. So don't miss out. I'll meet you tomorrow morning out front, God willing, on the front porch. We're together. We create another divine moment through illuminated conversation, and where? You guessed it, right here on Bathrobe Moments. And remember, as always, in closing, I love you, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Thank you, experts. We'll see you next time. Great job to all of you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, all.